Many people immediately reject the idea of animal testing because they simply do not understand the realities behind it. At one point in history, many of the Greeks believed they were above animals. As a result, and according to Nuno Freiko's article, Animals Experiments in Biomedical Research, they tested on animals freely, and the experiments did not raise any relevant moral questions. They knew and understood the process, and they did the experiments because they were deemed as normal. Modernly, people do automatically discard what they misunderstand. A common example of that is given in Shani Sun's article, The Truth About Animal Testing, when she speaks of how animal testing invokes an image of some large cosmetic company applying underdeveloped products to unsuspecting creatures, and regardless of the consequences. This is a chart basically just saying the percentage of people that believe that animal testing has more benefits than consequences. 32% say no, animal research isn't necessary for progress in human health. 68% say yes. So what does this have to do with you guys? I'm sure you've all been sick before, possibly needed antibiotics. I'm sure you have pets or have had a pet at some point, or even been to a zoo or aquarium. All of those animals require medical attention for their health, which is veterinarians. All of you require medical attention for your health at one point in your life, or maybe even your relatives do. Many of those discoveries and many of those vaccines and drugs have come from animal testing. Animal testing is required for the education of veterinarians and ensuring the safety of humans in society. There is a difference between animal testing and animal cruelty. And I will discuss two concerns today. The first one being the well-being of the animals being tested. The second one is if humans can survive without animal testing. Part of the stereotypic visual that I mentioned earlier is that animals are being unnecessarily tested during experiments. One concept often used by professionals is referred to as refinement. It's considered an alternative to animal testing, but it's basically just so the scientists can make sure that their animals are comfortable during the testing. According to the International Journal of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences, after the experiment has been fully completed, before the animal experiences any ill effects from the experiment, this should be defined as the endpoint, and the animal should be subsequently euthanized. This is logical, but still animal testing at some point. So those arguing in favor of alternatives to animal testing, we have yet to develop a very easy way to not use animals and still get the same benefits that we get with animal testing. Therefore, when they all argue for alternatives, they are still arguing for animal testing at this point in the scientific world. The actual logistics of animals being tested is also often misunderstood. According to the USDA, only about 6% of animals being performed on are actually experiencing pain. Research facilities are required to take good care of their animals and receive the best results in the process. Organizations such as the Association for Assessment and Accreditation of Laboratory Animal Care International constantly keep watch on animal research labs, promoting humane, responsible animal care and use. Many drugs and vaccines are a result of animal testing. Over 160 drugs and vaccines have been developed and approved by the U.S. Food and Agriculture Administration because we simply need it to survive. One specific story involved Louis Pasteur, who tested chickens to find the cause of cholera, as told in Clinical Microbiology and Infection. Pasteur helped end an epidemic destroying chicken population. So not only do they help us, but they help animals as well. Another visual I'll show you is basically a timeline. This shows the advances of science because of animal testing over the years. From 1881, the germ theory of disease, all the way down to 1940, penicillin protects mice against infection. And then going on to 1945, dialysis is developed for kidney failure. And then all the way to 2008, first tissue engineered whole organ transplant. All of this was results of animal testing. Veterinarians need to be trained by studying animals. Therefore, not only do we benefit from it, but the animals benefit from it as well. So obviously the benefits do outweigh the consequences of animal testing. Before criticizing the practice, everyone should really just step back and actually look into research facilities and make sure that they know what they're arguing for or against. Okay.